Olivia, really excited to have you on. Excited to talk a little bit about content, ads, things you've been creating. Before we jump in, give us like a 2 sentence snapshot of who you are, who am I talking to, and then we'll jump into the ads.
Yeah, so I am a veteran UGC creator who made the transition into creative strategy when I started to get really more interested into the research and the market strategy or market research behind UGC ads. Instead of just being on the creative side, I wanted to really understand like the analytics and the performance metrics side of everything. So yeah, that's who I am, what I do right now.
Awesome. Well, cool. I'm excited because the show is all about bringing people on who are creating content, right? There's a lot of podcasts out there. They're just talking about what you should do, kind of channels overall. We're here to talk about the nitty gritty of the ads themselves. So you brought me 3 videos. I have not seen these. This is fresh for me. I don't even know the brands. We've got this first performing. Why don't you, I'll tee it up, but once can you just tell me what is the brand, and maybe like any little like information about this ad? You don't have to go into like what it's about, but just like what is the brand that we're about to look at? What's the product?
Yeah. So this is for True Seamoss. This was a brand I was really excited to work with. First off, because True Seamoss came from the Caribbean, right? I am Caribbean. So this was a product that I was already super passionate about and actually already used myself. And this product kind of recently came on to the market, I'd say, in just the past couple years, honestly, as
Mm,
far as like getting trendy and it being kind of one of those viral products online. So the thing about it is that there is a little bit of skepticism about it because it is a newer kind of wellness product and it's not always the most, I wouldn't say it's always the most aesthetic or the most tasty. So we kind of had to utilize different elements of the product in order to make it more attractive and kind of get rid of that skepticism around the product.
all right, I love it. Let's do it. Here we go.
This is what Seamoss can do for your gut if you take 2 spoonfuls every day. It's called True Seamoss Superfood, and it's made with simple, clean ingredients. Wild crafted sea moss, naturally sourced fruit, lime juice, and purified water. That's it. Sea moss is naturally loaded with nutrients that your gut, immune system, metabolism, and even your skin need to thrive. It's packed with potassium, magnesium, and iron, making it the ultimate powerhouse for energy and balance throughout the day. This isn't some dusty powder or over processed feel. It's real, pure sea moss gel, shipped cold so it arrives fresh and ready to add to your daily routine. It's crafted right here in the US, lab tested for safety and free from all those fillers, additives, and preservatives. If you've been feeling sluggish, bloated, or struggling with inflammation, it could mean you're missing these essential minerals. Right now, you can grab True Sea Moss Superfood for up to 50% off. Your body is seriously going to thank you for it. Plus, they're even throwing in a free gift, and you've got 30 days to try it risk-free. Don't wait. Give your body what it's been missing.
Ooh, okay, that end. Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that end. That end was very good. Let's just rewatch that hook because I want to see
Okay.
it real quick. This is what CMOS can do for your gut. Okay.
This is what sea moss can do for your gut if you take 2 spoonfuls every day. It's called True Sea Moss Superfood, and it's made.
Okay.
So the funny thing about this, just to say off rip, is that this was a hook swap. So
Okay. What do you mean by that?
hook came from an original, more future paced concept. So with future pacing, it was like, week one, we noticed this, week two, we noticed this. This is the benefits by week three, blah, blah, blah. But we noticed the hook was doing well, but the hold rate was low. So we utilized that same hook and swapped it on top of this concept. Where the meat of this concept goes more into like the purity and the sourcing of the product. So what was really interesting is that the concept performed better when we kind of had its slight mismatch hook to the full concept.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the how did you think about directing this talent? Because I think a lot of times people are always trying to figure out, okay, I've got a script, I might be able to execute it myself, but how did you go about directing this talent? Because there's a quite a bit of shots that she's shooting, right? There's the talking to camera, there's her taking that spoonful in the car, there's a few other locations. So curious how you thought about how to direct her as talent.
Yeah, so what I love about this concept too, because she ended up being a top performer. We used her in round after round of content. that was our first time working with her, and she's an absolutely new creator, green creator completely. And what I love about Linda is some people really just kind of have that, like that energy, and you have to spot that, right?
Mhm.
And so with her, she already kind of had that, like, mom or grandma, trustworthy, happy, just like glowing energy. And so I really wanted to like capitalize on that. And with her, a lot of the direction was, for the problem shots, like if she was showing bloating or exhaustions or anything like that, then it was like, how do you I want you to actually feel like that. So what I had to emphasize the emotions behind all of the lines with her, because sometimes the creators will just say the lines and they're like, "Yeah, I was exhausted," or "This made me feel energized," but it's just like a script to them. But I want you to think about like actually like feeling energized or like feeling like really exhausted, like when you're doing the script delivery kind of thing. And luckily, most of this concept was pretty, positive. There wasn't a lot of problem agitation except for like the sourcing. So she was able to stay at that kind of like high energy state. And then as far as like the different settings, I am big on showing use cases. So like, yeah, I was like, right, take a spoonful in the car, like, you're on the go, take it at home. So we've gotten shots like of taking a spoonful in the gym, that kind of thing. So my biggest thing with her was just trying to get it as like as many well-rounded different environment shots as possible. And so I got the B-roll shots for this. So like at the beach, the shots at the beach and like, this shot here. So I got the beauty shots holding up the raw sea moss. Like those are the shots that I got. And then obviously all the shots that she was in, she got herself.
Okay, cool. And then how do you think about text on screen? Because it's a few times where you've had like a highlight here, and then a little bit later, you had just like
Red.
Feeling sluggish, bloated.
you had I can't find it. Oh, you had these like X's out like
Yeah.
of that. So tell me a little bit more about how you thought about like the text on screen comparative to like when you would be using captions.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I like to utilize like on-screen text callouts for main benefits, or like key USPs or main problems. So like with, might say like bloating or low energy, but with this it was calling out some USPs. So like no fillers, no additives, no preservatives. So sometimes it can get kind of monotonous, just like the captions can seem kind of monotonous and they don't always emphasize what you're really trying to call out. So I like to use more like either different colors. So I'll utilize some color theory stuff. So where if it's a benefit, I'll highlight it in green if it is going to be in the captions. And then if it's a negative, I'll have those words in red or like an X next to them so that, the brain automatically knows that that's like a negative kind of thing. But yeah, with the main call outs, when it's like key benefits or USPs, sometimes I like to utilize just on screen text pop ups instead of just the captions, which sometimes people don't even like look at if they are listening to it.
You mentioned that this was like a hook swap. So this hook was on a different video. You found that, hey, this hook is working. Let's put it onto this video. Did you also already test the like body of this ad before? And then you're just, okay, I'm taking a really good body ad, like an ad that had like good hold time, but maybe not a great hook. And then I switched it, or did you say like, "Hey, the hook is good. Let's rework the structure and build a new ad from the back." Like, what? How did you go about that?
Yeah, so 100%. It was pretty much a Frankenstein concept.
Oh
So
wow.
these were run at the same time, and then I was just watching the live performance and I was saying, okay, like the hook is doing really well here, but they're dropping off. This one, the hook rate, I think on this original concept was like around 30%, maybe 28%. And I'm like, we can definitely do better than that. But the hold rate was good. So I was like, okay,
Mm.
so they're sticking around and the CTR was good. Okay. I was like, so, you know, they're sticking around. It's causing them to want to take action, but like there's not as much engagement because we're not hooking that many people initially. So that's when I basically just decided to, we wanted to Frankenstein it, do the hook swap, bring that, really high performing hook with a body that is causing people to take action and stay engaged and see what happens.
So did the so obviously the hook increase, did the hold increase, like did the CTR increase, or was it just, hey, now that you have a better hook, it's just more efficient, or like how did that, like what did it look like now that you put it together comparative to like these two separate ads? One ad had good hook, no, not a good like hold. One had good hold and click through rate, but not a good hook. Now we switch it. Like what did that kind of like turn out at the end?
Yeah, so when we switched it, the hook rate was around the same, so it was still around, I think it was about 45%.
Yeah,
Well,
that makes
but
sense.
then the hold rate actually increased and so did the CTR, right? Because we then
Yeah,
initially just got more people engaged from the start, and
yeah.
then they actually stuck around this time because the concept was more engaging. And then obviously resulted in more click-through rate and so higher purchases because we got more people from the jump and then we found a way to keep them longer and have them take action. So
So cool. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's jump to number 2.
yeah.
Uh, is this also CMOS?
Yeah, so this is all gonna be from the same client. This was a round of
Awesome.
content that got, over 2,000,000 ad spend, so, these are some of my favorite concepts from working with them.
I
And,
love it.
that previous one was a top performer in the ad for, like, over 3 months, so
Okay. Okay, cool. All right, so number 2, here we go.
Do not buy true Seamoss superfood unless you're actually ready to say goodbye to blow in, low energy, and random breakouts. Stay clear of this stuff, y'all, because it actually works. I've been taking just 2 spoonfuls daily, and the difference is insane. My digestion is way smoother. I don't get those afternoon crashes anymore. My skin has not been this clear in years. I mean, True Sea Moss has over 90 of the 102 minerals your body needs. And honestly, it feels amazing. My body is running smoothly. I wasn't sure how it was going to taste, but it legit tastes like applesauce. Plus, there are literally thousands of 5-star reviews talking about it helps people with their joint pain, gut health, their skin. And right now, True Sea Moss Superfood is up to 50% off, and you get a free gift. But don't buy it unless you're ready to actually look good and feel way better.
Okay, I love it. We also forgot to talk about the end of that first one, but it's on here, so I'll need to talk about that last offer at the end. But let's just look at the very beginning real quick again.
Do not buy True Sea Moss Superfood unless you're actually ready to say goodbye to blow in, low energy, and random breakouts. Stay clear of this stuff, y'all, because it actually works. I've been
Okay, so this is interesting. It almost feels like the hook is like 11 seconds. Like that's how I feel.
yeah, it's like a roller coaster of bringing them on emotions because it starts out with the reverse psychology, like the cautionary hook, like "Don't buy this," and my thoughts behind that is there's so much, in the wellness space, we are constantly being bombarded with ads and like, buy this to fix that, buy this to fix that. So I found the reverse psychology of like cautionary concepts helps kind of disarm the viewer a little bit because they don't feel like off rip. Their brain says, oh, actually, they're not trying to sell me something. They're actually telling me not to buy something. And so they're almost like, what do I need to watch out for? So that's why I kind of like those cautionary hooks.
Tell me about the text on screen because, there are people out there that are like, "Oh, if it's UGC, like all the text needs to be um I don't know, like
Like the
organic." Yeah, but you used like, just actual text on screen, a lot bigger of print.
uh
Tell me why you did that and played with kind of the different text styles.
Yeah, so I was just taking note of what I was actually seeing more from the people I, follow and the content I see on Instagram a little bit more specifically, also on TikTok.
Mhm.
But, you know, a lot of the times with these new, like, because a lot of people are starting to do more storytelling style content on socials organically. And they're using this mix of different fonts throughout the whole concept. And so I was getting kind of tired of seeing the same, classic font white with the black outline. I was like, I want to try something different, especially I wanted to utilize the on-screen text as part of the hook. So it's not just like what she's saying, it's also like part of the hook. So it's big, it's bold, it uses I would say yellow is one of the most common colors I'm seeing when it comes to highlighting text. Like that kind of soft yellow is what I was seeing a lot on social media. And so I was like, let's throw this in there as part of the visual hook. So I wanted to, try out because we still have, you see here, that's still like the classic text
Mhm.
kind of just going back and forth, but I wanted to use that on-screen text as part of the hook itself.
Yeah. And then uh talk to me a little bit about the ending here. Like you've got this offer yeah, like why not put this at the beginning? Why put it at the end? Just walk me through like how you think about the offer and this kind of call to action.
Yeah, yeah. So at first, with this one, we wanted to have a reverse psychology concept that disarmed the viewer first. Because so if we put the offer at first, I know offer, okay, they're pushing something, right? So if we would have put, yes, free gift is a good hook, and that also does work. But for this one, we wanted to have like the do not buy first. So like trying to act like we're putting them off a product or warning them about something. So if we would have put the free gift at the front, it would have been like, wait, but it would have kind of contradicted that we're not selling you anything kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I love free gifts in this. If anytime a brand has the ability to let me, if it's a big sale or a free gift, I think that's huge. But I think with this one too, we wanted it the talent carried a lot in this concept. Like she's all personality. And I let her kind of run with some of it too. I was like, I saw your personality because I got on a call with her. And I was like, I saw your personality on the call. I want to see that in the concept. Like, yes, there's a script, but throw in some and any kind of wording that you would more, speak like too. And so I found with the CTA, they actually told me later on that there was a free gift. So it was already kind of thrown in there in the end. And I didn't want to interrupt that reverse psychology in the beginning. So that was kind of the idea of pop it, just like a matter of fact, So if the full concept didn't sell them on it, then at the end it's like, all right, well, you also get a free gift. So
Yeah. What
yeah,
about you said that this person kind of carried it. I was going to ask you, like, a majority of this is really her kind of like talking to camera.
yeah,
How do you think about having somebody do that versus, basically saying every line in a different room, or like,
yeah.
just trying to like make it fast or quick or different? Like, how did you think about having her kind of hold it down in the same location, basically?
Yeah, I wanted to kinda get now, I will say, like, you really have to have the right kind of talent, like, sourcing is
For
huge for
sure.
this type of concept, like, it really is on whether they're engaging or not, you know? And so for this one too, with her kind of, um a lot of the top performers of this brand already had a lot more, like, relatable talent, less aspirational, like, they don't maybe look like a Victoria's Secret model and, like, they're doing all these workouts and all this stuff. Half the time, they were in, like, fluffy robes and, like, they're holding it selfie style, so a lot of their top performers already had this very, like, organic, "Let me just tell you about this" style, so I wanted to incorporate that in this as well. So it's almost kind of like, "Girl, let me warn you about this." And I basically, like, gave her that. I was like, "Girl, you're telling your friend, like, don't do this unless you're really ready to pop off." So that's kind of the avatar that we're also targeting as well and that was performing the best. And so it was really a lot of it based on her personality. I had the script, I had the idea, but and we actually, believe it or not, so funny thing, we actually had backup B-roll for this. So I had her get other shots that just aren't in this. And then I saw her on camera presence and I was like, I want to see her most of the time. I wanted to feel like she just, I was like, hey, set the camera up on your kitchen table, have the product casually there and just talk about it in that kind of fashion. So but we still have, like the fun on-screen text to still make it engaging even though she's not moving around. But with her body language and her hand movements and her tonality and her pacing, it's engaging in itself. So,
Yeah. I think what's powerful is the decision to do less. I think a lot of times we opt for more. Like, I think that there's this kind of cop out of like, oh, people don't have good attention spans or whatever. And it almost gives people like, oh, so you've got to come and put in all this B-roll. And a lot of times, like, it's just what is going to be most engaging. And sometimes pulling back, and if you have somebody like her who is really engaging, who can really just talk to the camera well. Of course, like you said, it comes down to sourcing the right creator to do that. You can't just have anybody just do that. But I think allowing their presence to be there versus trying to, I don't want to say mask it, but cover it through a bunch of B-roll, you might have
yeah.
missed a lot of that delivery. And so to me, I think that is really great of a decision, a creative decision to say, I'm actually going to like pull off a lot of this B-roll so I can just see her and know when that is right to do. I think that
Right.
that's harder to do, right? It's harder to do less than to do more. So to me, that's I think was a great decision. It's I think part of what made this work. So yeah, it's really cool. Jumping
Yeah.
to the third one, unless you have anything else to add to that.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, with what you were saying as well as like the less is more sometimes too, because like when you really think about those concepts, it's like, okay, sometimes having a lot of that B-roll of like all the times describing the benefits or the problems, it's like, what did you set up the camera just then and do it? But like, but when you're just talking to it, like talking to the camera the whole time, it really feels like, okay, you took the product, you're sitting down to just talk about it now. And it feels like it keeps them in the present moment of like where she's at now.
Mhm.
So I feel like that was an element as well.
Yeah, I love it, I love it. Alright, let's jump to number 3, same brand. I
Mhm.
like that we're in the same brand because that we kinda don't have to learn what's the new product for this one. Alright, here we
Yeah.
go. Oh my gosh, this frame already, it's catching me. Okay, here we go.
Doorways, I love doorways.
Oh my god, I thought I got scammed. All I wanted was the mango and pineapple flavored True Seamoss superfood that I kept seeing everywhere, but when my box arrived, it wasn't what I expected. Turns out there were extra free gifts inside. I'd heard that sea moss can help clear your skin by detoxing your gut, which is something I desperately needed help with. And right now they're offering up to 50% off, so I ordered 3 jars because the more you stock up, the more you save. Plus, they even threw in these free sea moss gummies as well. I mean, are they trying to go bankrupt? Between the big discount, the freebies, and how clear my skin has been since taking it, I'm not surprised it sells out so fast. I wouldn't wait if you want to try it because I guarantee it will sell out again.
Okay.
Yeah, so as far as, like, you can tell this ad was definitely for more of, like, I would say more product aware viewers.
Yeah, so a little bit more like middle, bottom of funnel, like, they've
Yeah.
already probably seen one of the ads. Okay, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and so again, with the cautionary, like, the scam hooks always do really well. I feel like especially in the wellness industry too, because people feel like half the things in the wellness industry are already a scam. And then as far as the visuals with this hook, I found that like opening doors or knocking on doors tends to be a really good hook visually because we just want to know what's coming out of that door, what are they picking up, and then there's always the excitement of like having a package on your front door. So it's just like combination of things that will always kind of catch our attention or get us curious. And then of course we've got the red on-screen text for like flat like red flag warning and just the cautionary aspect of avoiding a scam. So,
Yeah, then tell me a little bit about, like, in all 3, I've seen you use kind of, whether it's, like, some video type stuff, like
yeah.
B-roll, like, how do you go about thinking about that? Because I think sometimes maybe some people are like, "Ah, like, does it affect the brand? Should we shoot that? How do we show that?" And sometimes it's kind of hard because it's like, you're not going to get your skin cells basically, right? So I'm
Right.
just curious how you think about using kind of like additional B-roll that is not like you know, B-roll that the creator is shooting.
Yeah, so when it comes to kind of like the animations and you'll see like the body scan animations too, I found sometimes, especially with like the body scan ones, first time they're, with the colors and stuff, they're kind of engaging to look at. But at the same time, if it's, going to be in the background of a more like scientific or, health related explanation, sometimes I found if it looks a little bit more like, slightly clinical or like it's an image from like a research study or something like that, then it kind of helps build that credibility and that emphasize that educational point. Because if it's just because when you can see down to the like, it kind of feels like you're taking the viewer to the root of
Mm.
what the benefit's fixing instead of just like, yes, I have clear skin now, but like look down at the cellular level, like this is now all getting cleared out, or like in the gut, because the X-ray body scans, people are just also curious about what's inside of them. So when you see like the gut scan, it kinda helps with like a visual of like, yes, you can see somebody standing there and whether they have their belly, pushed out or not. But when you see like an X-ray scan of like the gut and it kinda helps them visualize a little bit more, um, from a more scientific, aspect.
Yeah. Now tell me a little bit about casting for this because I think what's
Mhm.
interesting is like we've got varying ages. We
Yeah,
have 3 different women, all people of color. Maybe is it me that like CMOS is for this demographic
100%.
specifically? Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
wait,
this was
can
all
I be
very
taking CMOS then? Like, should I be taking this?
of
I feel
course.
like I okay, okay. So I should be
Yeah,
taking this too. But like,
yeah, no,
tell-
so that was the casting was very intentional. So like I mentioned, before, so I'm from the Caribbean, right? And so CMOS started out in like, Caribbean cultures as like a lot as well.
Yeah.
And so there is more people of color who are actually more aware of it than, people outside of that. So that avatar started as the most, aware audience first, and
Yeah.
they're the ones who are engaging the most. Because it also has origin story to it, right? And so like coming out of the Caribbean, it's just like it can relate to that demographic of people a lot better. But the funny thing is, I mean, other people obviously are still buying it. There was some top performers of women who were, Asian, Caucasian as well. But for this round of content, we were finding, African American older women and then women in their like 20s to 30s was doing really well. We found with the older women, we wanted a more like what worked better was very like relatable, kind of wholesome, kind of healthy grandma vibes.
Yeah.
And then with the younger women, it was more, aspirational in some sense, but still relatable. Like they might not look like a Victoria's Secret model, but they do have the clear skin and like, nice hair and stuff like that. So yeah, that was very intentional with the demographics of the talent. And they were pretty much matching exactly who we were trying to talk to.
So, like, based on those demographics, like, I'm sure there's, different needs, like, for different people. Like, did you
Mhm.
ever think, because like, these ads don't speak to kind of like anything like specific, like if there's like a specific kind of something with skin or something more common, like you don't really speak to that part. So is there like so is it really just like we want to have the demographic there as like a subconscious like visual, or is there also like additional like benefits or problems that they might have that you would eventually do other content that's more specific to like different like people, like somebody who is Asian versus Caucasian, like maybe
Mhm.
the properties that of this would be different for them. But like I'm just curious if that's also like part of the strategy. Maybe not in these three videos, just in general, like on the account itself.
Yeah, so the way on the account we started to just have the talent bring that culture into it.
Mm.
Tijuana's videos as well. She was the second talent. You'll see in kind of like some of the like some utilizing some slang in there so that
Hmm.
like wording and the diction is a little bit more relatable to that demographic as well. But as a whole, we didn't want to make the talent cast out any other customers as well. So we didn't wanna isolate it, but we did it was more just like a visual, this we know this is what, the main demographic that is purchasing the product and is already aware of the product. So we want to visually, like, maybe, be able to be more relatable to them first, but we don't want the information to push away other potential customers as well. That's why it's more like well-rounded overall health too. So it's not like we went into specific, health effects, like maybe a certain group of people are more affected by diabetes and this helps with blood sugar, da da da. We did test out some of them that were more pinpointed and they didn't do as well. So it was
Interesting.
more overall wellness. And I think too, because, there's certain demographics, like I'd say this might be a bit far fetched, but in the more Caucasian groups of individuals, there's like very big biohacking community. And it's like they're very specific about, what parts of the wellness and picking apart different benefits for different problems. And then maybe other demographics is like, I just want to feel good. I want to look good, and
Yeah.
not getting too much, not over educating, getting too much in the nitty gritty of certain problems. It's just like, I want to look good, feel good. And this is easy and good.
Yeah.
So that was the main thought process behind it. We wanted to visually be more relatable to the main demographic, but not cast out like other clients or customers with the script.
What about guys? Like, do guys take this too, or like, have you guys ever tested guys? I'm just curious, or is this mainly for women?
Yeah, so it can help anybody. It's overall wellness
Yeah.
can help anybody, but, I think usually it was like 70 to 80% female purchasers. But when we did utilize male talent, it was always very aspirational, very buff, muscular African American men, and they look like athletes, right? So
Yeah.
kind of a very different style of talent, for the male population, but I think that's generally more common as well with male, targeted products. Like, they gotta wanna be you. They gotta wanna get like you, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we did test out men, but it was very small minority of the talent. That was
Interesting, interesting.
and so same with the purchasers, so
Yeah, yeah. Well, Olivia, this was really great. I felt like I learned a lot here, and it was really cool just to kind of go through your decision making, how you thought about things, how you're thinking about the overall account. This is really great.
no
Tell
problem.
people, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Drop in all the, the things that you wanna to show.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, you can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. It's larsen.creatives. That's Larsen dot creatives. And same on TikTok. I'm also on, YouTube. But yeah, that's where you can find me. That's where I have all my resources for fellow creators, people who are wanting to learn how to get into UGC creation and things like that. So I hope I get to connect with all of you guys on there.
Awesome. Well, Olivia, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.